Welcome to Yeshiva Dashir, sponsor Nishva Sam Yakashom Nabasitzchok. We're holding in Basra Daf Samechei. We're starting at Sarchdal based on the last line. So to more Itmar. Ravuna Marav with the Samechei on top. Halacha Kedivre Chachomim. Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba Omer Shmuel Halacha Rabbi Akiva. So we learned in the previous daf the Machlekes Rabboni Rabbi Akiva is Moicher Ba'in Yofa Moicher and Moicher Ba'in Ron Moicher. Yesterday's daf had a whole discussion to be a raya based on the fact that the Mishnah repeats itself 4 times, that's the machlekes. According to Rabbi Akiva, you assume that a moicher ba'an yofa moicher is selling with a good eye, meaning he's selling generously. And Rabbanan hold you don't say moicher ba'an yofa moicher, and the more brings down machlekes already paskin. Ravuna Marav said Allah Kedivre Chachamim. Rav Yirmiyah Barabba said name Mishmur Allah Rabbi Akiva. Only Rav Yirmiyah Barabba Ravuna. Says Rav Yirmiyah to Ravuna, you're saying the name of Rav is like a chomim. Says many times I said to Rav, Allah Rabbi Akiva, he didn't say a thing. So he said, let's check out what is your gears in the Mishnah. So this comes out of showing here in other places, not that he said, I said the opposite. Because then the question wouldn't start. But what he did was, he said, okay, let me tell you how I say the Mishnah. And as he was saying the Mishnah, found out that, he has the opposite Girsa. He has the Girsa different than what the Girsa that we have. And according to his Girsa, Rabbanan are the ones who say that Moicher Ba'an Yofa Moicher. And Rabbi Akiva is the one who says Moicher Ba'an Yofa Moicher. So he says, in other words, Rav paskins that moicher ba'in ra moicher, a seller doesn't sell generously. Now we said in our Mishnah that it's chachamim. You said in the name of Rabbi Akiva, you have a different girsa, but it's the same halach. Who? Rav and Shmuel. And 2 brothers, they inherited a property, and then they split it between them. So then is, they don't have a way on each other. In other words, each one takes his chelik, and none of them gets a pathway to get to his chelik. They don't get the ladders one on each other. Right? In other words, they don't have any pathways or any different ways to get to the areas. They have the property itself, and that's it, nothing else. So the Rashi in the Zayin with base, the Rashban sentences there, says chaloinus means they cannot come and complain, or your window's opening and that blocks me, or it doesn't block, you don't have that thing. And you don't have a sulamos, someone has the 2nd floor, he can't say, I want to put a ladder in the chutzah to get to my 2nd floor. And also you don't have a masamayim, which is to come and say that I need to have the water coming to my field. So these are Reuben. Be careful. This is halach kvuas. Halach kvuas means is the main halacha. That's why we pass it that way, and therefore you can't change. That's what Shmuel said. Rav said they do have. So what do you see? When the 2 brothers split a field, the Gemara compares it to a seller and a buyer. We have 2 brothers. They both own the field. They both own the chutzah. That's what they inherited from their father. Now that they split it, so one gives the other his chelik in the chutzah. And there's a shaila is when he gives him the chelik, does he give him also a pathway or not? So he's considered to be that he has a derech or not. So he said them like this. So l'chura it's the same machlekes. Rav and Shmuel give him shitosu. Shmuel that says by us that moicher ba'an yofa moicher. So they says also by our brothers, they gave up everything. They didn't leave for themselves any pathway, anything. And Rav that says moicher ba'in ra moicher is more stingy. So the brothers are not. It's exactly the same machlekes. It's not exactly the same thing. If you want to tell me there by Achim, he says, there, Rav says, you know why I want to have a pathway to my pit? I want to live here like my father's lived here. My father, he always had a way to get to the pit. So if he also has a way to get to the pit, so I should have a way to get to the pit. I want to be able to access it. Bring a pasuk that we mentioned earlier, that there's such a thing that a father, that I want to stand the same way my father stood. But in our case, when you don't have brothers, it's not a father, it's not inheritance. So maybe he agrees to Shmuel, the Moicher by Ra Moicher, and Moicher by Yafas Moicher, sorry, he didn't keep for himself any pathway. If you told me the case of the brothers, the case of not the brothers, back on Shmuel. Here Shmuel says, Moicher be'ayin Yafa Moicher. I'll be by brothers, Amo, Moidil Rav. I need both cases. I'm not sure. I would not know one from the other because brothers are different than others. Or you could say Kavasaychu. Is a loch like you or a loch like us? The Rishbam brings the Rav Nachman he was together with Shmuel. Because Rav Nachman was a Talmud of Shmuel. So Rav Nachman says a loch like Shmuel or like Rav. So he said, we pass like you, the Bekaraf to the Bob with the Berish Kalusa, the Shechedaino. You're next to the area of Berish Kalusa, the king of the Jews, where there's a lot of Dayanim, so you know the halacha, and you tell us that the halacha is that Moicher be'ayin Yofa Moicher, so that's what we pass. So the Moitmar. Shtei batim ze lifrim mizeh. You have two houses, one in front of another. Now we're talking about a case that one person owned both houses, and he gave it to two people. And what way did he give it to two people? That's what one speaks about. Shteyim b'mecher, he gave both of them with sale, or Shteyim b'matano, or he gave us both of them as a gift. Eilam derech zelzeh. They don't have a derech. They don't. The inner one can't tell the outer one, I need a pathway. Because even if you want to say moicher b'ayin yofa moicher, this goes back to what we learned earlier. Remember, we said moicher b'ayin yofa moicher could be a discussion when you have a seller and a buyer. You see, the seller was generous to the buyer. But if I have two buyers, so why should I be more generous to one more than the other? So there I'll say they're both the same. What does it mean they're both the same? I have two buyers. One buyer, I gave him, I don't know, we say I gave one this part, the other one this part. I didn't give to A part of B. So they don't have a pathway to get to the inside. Similar with the gift. They're both the same. The outer ones is a gift, which a person is more generous by a gift, as we'll see in a moment, than by a sale. So if the inner one is a sale, the inner one doesn't have a taina of a derech, because you probably give more to the one who's giving a gift. Right? But if but if the outer one was a sale, and the inner one was a gift, so the inner one, as we'll see in a moment, there's more of a savaro. To the one he gave a gift to, he's more generous. So maybe he gave him also a pathway to get to the inside. So for me, no, ain't lem derech zalzeh. You would say maybe still there's no derech. It's not that true. And this is what we'll see. Come on, Abba Moise said matana. Noise is called my gift. He is more generous. That's what we'll see later in what it means. Someone gives a gift, he is more generous. He gives a gift. Person gives a gift, he gives it he's generous about it. And if he's generous about it, the inner one is giving more of a pathway. Just to mention, we said in the Shor Machshava a few blocks ago, when we mentioned for the first time this idea of Matan b'ayin Yofa Yoiv. That's why it says, and Yisoscha brings, that's why Kishbuk tells Am Yisrael, Ki lekach toim nosati lochem. Lekach loshen lekicho, mechiro. Nosati loshen matana. What is the toyo? Is it a mechira or matana? Says, of course, it's a mechira. We worked hard for it. But Kishbuk was giving it as a matana b'ayin Yofa. He's giving it to us in a generous way. So the Mishnah. Now the next Mishnah, the rule of the Mishnah is that when you sell a house, you sell together everything which is kavua in the house. Which is kavua in stationary. It's attached to the house. Anything which is movable, you don't. So you sell the door. But not the key. As we'll see in the Gemara, the key, we're not talking about a key who moves. The key stays in the door. But you're able to move it. So the fact that it's movable, it's not sold. Mocher samachtesh is a kavua, which is the lower part of the grinder, which is kavua. Avalois v'tel, but not the one. Sorry, the grinder that's kavua, but after the is not the one which is movable. Machar et etzubil avalois kalas. Etzubil is the bottom part, which is kavua. The kelas is where you stick a tag, which is movable. Avalois atami avalois atakirai, and not the oven or the different types of oven which are movable. But if he said, I'm giving you it with everything inside it, so then it is a rate kula with some with base, then obviously everything is included. So up to Gemara. Lema sees the look at Meir, Chorah Mishnah is like a Meir. Dear Meir, Alma Mochar Sakerim, Mochar Tashmi Sheker. Meir says, we'll see it later. Someone sold a vineyard. He sold with the vineyard all the instruments they use for the vineyard. So you see the metallim is also being sold. Also, kvi kvi. Talk about a veer. We're talking about things that stay there in the field. They stay there. So there, even though they're movable, you never move it. That's why it's sold. Shake it here, they move it. Says the Gemara about Maftech doing the Delstein. That's what we mentioned in the Mishnah. We say a key. The key is like the door. It means you don't move it. Ma does the kviya of the kviya. Mashra it's kavua. Even though it's movable, you never take it out. It's like a key that you leave in the door. So you're right. Our Mishnah is like a Meir, because according to our Mishnah, anything which is movable is not sold. And according to our Meir, anything is movable, if it stays there, is sold. So someone who sells the house, he sells the door, he sells the nagar, which is it's called the bariach, the lock. Different types of the lock. The nagar is one type of lock, the manu is another type of lock. The Rashbam explains that the nagar is what's connected to the wall, and the manu is connected to the door. Avaloi is not the key. What was the machteshes hachakuka? Avaloi is a kavua. What's a chakuka? What's kavua? Kavua, so the way the Rashbam learns it, he learns a little differently, but the Rashbam learns it, the chakuka means that it was engraved in the rock. You have a rock, you engraved in it a grinder. The kavua means that you engraved it before, made a kli, and then you attach it to the ground. So even though right now it's attached to the ground, because originally it wasn't, so it's considered bimetatelis. It's turbil, which is attached to the ground, the v'lois kalas, which is not, v'lois tanur, v'lois kirayim, v'lois richaim. There's different types of ovens and grinders. They're movable. What it says, he says no. Even though, or the way the Rashbam learns it, even though you talk about something which you engraved and then attached, once it's attached, it will be part of the karka, considered to be non-movable, and it's sold with the house. He said everything which is included, it's everything sold. Even though he's talking about everything inside, not the pit. We learned before, it's the pit which has bricks. Which is an inner room. So now that's the Bryce that goes and summarizes the whole thing. Now the Gemara is going to focus on the part that we spoke about, that you create a kli and then you attach it. Now we're going to start the sugya now, just in a few more lines, just to finish here the daf, and we'll get to our sugya, and then we'll go back into this tomorrow. So let's think about like this. We know, let's give a little agdama, that in a mikvah you need to have mayim which are not shuvin, not drawn water. Water needs to be going straight, it has to be rainwater that goes straight into the mikvah. If the water went into a kli, into a vessel, which is movable, so then it becomes mayim shuvim, and it's plus all the mikvah. Now here we have the following thing we're going to learn. If the kli was a kli, and then you attach it to the ground, even though right now it's attached to the ground, because originally it was a kli, the water going through it as it did a mayim shuvim, drawn water, it's not kosher for the mikvah. But if it was not a kli, but in the ground you went and created some kind of a pipe and was connected to the ground, then it's okay. So that's what the Gemara is saying. Tzinor shechokekoi. Ulbosov kavoi took a pipe. He created the pipe. You dig into it, and then you put it down on the ground. Poisel a mikvah. Right, it's a kli, and then it was attached. Kavoi was the opposite. He first attached it, and then he made a hole in it. Ain't a poisel a mikvah. As we mentioned, then it's okay. Mani lo Rabbi lo Rabbanon. That's the Chori naturally is a blood Rabbanon. Now the Rishbam is bothered. What do you mean lo Rabbanon? He's stuck a little with it because why? Because the following suggestion of the Gemara: Haya blazer, which blazer? Ilemo Rabbi Lezer the Bayis. We just mentioned right now that we said that when you sell a house, you sell everything attached. What happens if you sell something which was not attached and then got attached? So Rabbanan say it's sold, and Rabbanan says it's not sold. So we're not going with the blazer because according to the blazer, even though when it was detached, it was a kli. Once you attach it, it's going to be attached. So when I do my time the blazer, so moicher ban yafo moicher. Rabbanan savri moicher ban ro moicher. No, maybe machlokes is very different. Charlie is a moicher is a generous or not. He sold everything attached. That's part of mechira. Something which was not attached, then became attached, is not selling. That's moicher ban ro moicher. And your blazer holds no. Even though right now it wasn't attached originally, because the bias is attached, moicher ban yafo moicher has to do with the savara of the seller. Now, what's the problem with Rashbam right now? Because the Gemara says that this Mishnah, this Mishnah is not like a blazer, not like a bunny. According to the Mishnah we bring right now, it is a blazer. Why say it's not a blazer? It is a very much a blazer. Because, very much a bunny. Rabbanan say that something which was detached as a kli and then was attached. So it doesn't help. So kli goes with a bunny. So why are you saying it's not a blazer? So it says the Rashbam, according to the Rashbam, that the Gemara could have said that this will work with a bunny. That's what Toys points out as well. Meaning, right now the Gemara wants to say this Mishnah is not the Mishnah we're talking about. So the Gemara says, you know why it's not the Mishnah? Because here's a Mechira, there's not a Mechira. The Gemara could have said, because you said it's not a blazer, not a Rabbanon, and this works with a bunny. It could have said that. But the Gemara did not say it. So, that Toys goes on to say a little bit of Shad and Sugya, and maybe we'll go back there tomorrow. But just to point out that right now at our stage, according to the Hammer in the Gemara, the Mikvah Mishnah goes very well with Rabbanan in our case. So tomorrow says right now that's not the same thing. Here's a Mechira, nothing to do with the Mikvah, and we'll continue. We'll start from the year tomorrow again. The one's going to try to bring other places where we find Chlosha Baz Rabbanan to see where that connects to the Sugya of the Mikvah.